and welcome to episode 93 of the Giddy Knits podcast. As always, I'm Helen and I am coming to you from Dundee in Scotland, where I live with my husband Tom and my two boys, Arthur, who is 7, and Jasper, who is 4. Today is Sunday the 18th of April and it actually happens to be mine and Tom's 12th wedding anniversary. But he has gone to pick up our food shopping and I am sitting down to record a podcast. Exciting times. Anyway, welcome. Anyone that is new and doesn't know who I am the dyer behind Giddy Yarns, and this is my crafting podcast where I talk about kind of the projects that I'm working on, mostly knitting. Creeping in more and more nowadays is crochet, as well as occasionally any other crafts and bits and pieces that I might be working on. Today, what have I got for you? I'm going to start off with a short announcement section. I've got a giveaway winner to announce, and then a little chat about some make-alongs, including a new one that I am going to start off with a bang. I've got a couple of works in progress to share with you. I've got no finished objects and I haven't got any new cast-ons, but I have made progress on some things. I will also share a little bit of blanket progress, a little bit of yarny goodness, and then a quick shop news chat at the very end of the episode. Right, should we get straight into it? I can't think of anything else that I'm supposed to have said at the beginning. I don't know. I had no tea this week. I made myself a cup of tea and then I realised that we've got no milk left and Tom's not back with the shopping, so no cup of tea. Right, okay, let's go straight into the announcements then, shall we? First of all, a quick reminder about the Giddy Yarns make-along. As always, it is an ongoing make-along. So any project that uses at least 50% Giddy Yarns is eligible to enter. And you can enter in our Ravelry group. You can enter in our Mighty Networks group, and you can also enter on Instagram. All of the details of everything that I talk about, as long as I remember to put it in there, will be in the show notes, which are underneath this video in the little drop down box. But yeah, you can enter, as I said, in Ravelry, in our Mighty Networks group, all of which are linked down below, and also using the hashtag GiddyYarnsFO on Instagram. The next prize draw for that one, I draw prizes quarterly, and the next prize draw will be at the end of June. April, May, June, 3 months. Yeah, at the end of June. Right, talking of prizes, I have a giveaway winner to announce. In last week's episode, we had a fantastic giveaway from the lovely Sophie of A Spring Snowflake Designs with her first blanket pattern, which was called the Radiating Squares blanket. Sorry, Sophie, just checking my notes quickly to make sure I say the right name. Which is a fantastic kind of a Tunisian crochet version of a Cozy Memories blanket. And I prompted you to use the word Tunisian in your comment to be entered with a chance to win. And I used a random YouTube comment generator to pick a winner. And the winner is Carletta. So congratulations, Carletta. If you get in touch with me via anyways, really, Instagram, Ravelry, direct message on Mighty Networks, email, any of those ways, get in touch with me and give me your details so I can get Sophie to send you over the pattern. Right, congratulations. So that's that one. New make-along. So I put out a very brief message on Mighty Networks only yesterday for suggestions for a new make-along, because I fancy a new short-term make-along. And loads of people came back with suggestions, and there's some brilliant ones in there, but the one that really, really called to me was the idea of a book-themed make-along. So I think we're just going to go with that. So it's going to be, I'm just going to call it the Giddy Yarns Book-along. And basically, we're going to keep the rules really, really simple. You can knit any project you want. And in fact, you can craft pretty much any project you want. I am opening this up to knitting, crochet, cross stitch, sewing, quilting, crafting in general. Yeah, I think. I'm going to be pretty open about what crafts you can include in this make-along. The only stipulation, is that the word I want, is that you need to link your project in some way to a book, preferably a fiction book. Oh, I always get non-fiction and fiction muddled up. A fiction book, a storybook, a novel. Yeah, something like that. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a children's book. It could be a fantasy book. It could be anything you want, as long as you can link your project in some way, whether it's the pattern you chose, the yarn you're using, anything. Tenuous links are always appreciated. As long as you can link it in some way to a fiction book of your choosing, then it is eligible to be entered. I'm going to kick it off from now. So works in progress are completely acceptable, but you need to have a finished object. To enter for a prize, you need to have a finished object, but we're going to let it run until the end of June. So you've got 2 months to enter your finished objects, and finished objects can be entered in all of those places I mentioned before. So I will set up a thread in Ravelry where you can, I'll set up a chatter thread and a finished objects thread in Ravelry. I will set up a topic in Mighty Networks so that you can, basically when you write your post, it gives you the option to add a topic. So if you're entering a finished object, there'll be a finished object cal topic that you can use, which will help me sort the posts. And I'll pop up a chatter thread of some kind in Mighty Networks as well. And on Instagram, if you want to enter on Instagram, then you can just join in the chatter and let me share your progress and stuff like that using the hashtag GYBookalong. And again, I'll make sure that's on the screen. And if you've got a finished object that you want to enter, just enter it using the hashtag GYBookalongFO for finished object. So lots of ways to enter. And prizes, there will be prizes, there will be yarny prizes for sure. As always, I don't know quite what they are yet, but we'll work that out. I might do actually what I did with the Giddy Yarns Make Along for this quarter and just actually open it up as you can choose a skein of yarn from the shop or a dyed to order colourway if I don't have it in stock. Because that's quite nice and easy and it gives you a choice, and rather than just getting whatever. Sounds like everyone's got home from the shops. But as always, if anybody would like to donate prizes, any makers out there would like to donate prizes, then they're always gratefully received. I love having lots and lots of prizes to give away to everyone that enters the make-alongs. Right, let's move on, shall we? I think I've given you all that information. I will make sure to include all of that information in a post or a thread or something in various places. And maybe I'll do a post on Instagram as well with all of that information in too, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Right, let's move on to some knitting, shall we? I'm going to have a quick sip of drink. Not quite as satisfying as a sip of a cup of tea though, is it? And let's move on to some works in progress. So, I'm going to start with the big one, my Campside Cardi. I have put quite a decent amount of work into this again. Really, I should have finished the second sleeve. It's just so close. I have finished all the decreases on the second sleeve. And I think I've only got about another inch and a half to go before I need to start the cuff. So I really should have got this done, but I've been working on quite a few things. But yeah, if anyone is new and you haven't been watching the progress of this for the last year, this is the Campside Cardi, which is a pattern by Alicia Plummer. It's an open fronted cardigan with this lovely kind of, let me show you the back is easier, isn't it? This lovely eyelet pattern that goes down. I have adapted the pattern. I'm not doing the final chart of the eyelets because it turns into almost a mesh. So I've actually just kept the kind of penultimate chart and extended the length of that. But otherwise, I've done pretty much everything else to pattern so far. So it's getting there. The first sleeve is finished. The second sleeve is nearly finished. The body is finished. It's getting there. I'd like to get this done by the end of April, but I'm not sure whether I will. But it'll be a close thing. It will be a close thing. So yeah, it's getting there. I dyed up the yarn after talking about last week wanting to knit a love note. I actually dyed up the yarn. I can't show it to you because I've not skeined it up yet and it's on the other side of the room. But I dyed up some skeins of DK in my Neptune colourway, which is the really bright blue. And I think I'm going to use that to knit my love note. So as soon as this is finished, I am going to swatch and get that one cast on and try and be better at garment knitting. So that is the first work in progress that I wanted to share. The second work in progress is a very similar thing at the moment, and in a very similar position as well. And that is my little baby Vertebrae. I am knitting this for a friend, well, a couple of friends that are a couple. You know what I mean. They've just had a baby, their first baby, and they've had a little girl. So I am knitting them a little baby Vertebrae. And as I said, I'm in very much the same position. So I am probably I think I'm probably only about 2 centimetres away from starting the rib on that one. I don't know where, I've got too many needles attached. Oh, there you go. They're not actually attached to anything. So yeah, it's coming along. And then the same as with the Campside Cardi, it will just be button bands that need to be sorted. But yeah, I'm so pleased with this colourway. I've said this before, this is my Beth colourway, which I have available on various bases at the moment. This is on my merino nylon base, and I absolutely love how this is knit up. A number of you said that you think it would suit me. You think I could wear this colour. So I'm thinking maybe I could make myself something in this. I really do love it. So yeah, baby Vertebrae. The pattern is by, I believe, Kelly Van Nykirk, or Kelly, yeah, it'll be linked in the show notes. I meant to look it up and I forget it every week. I think I get confused because I'm sure she's the person who designed the sock head hat. But maybe she designed both. I don't know. But yeah, this is the pattern, and it's getting there. It's nearly done. I'm hoping, again, that this will be done by next week. I'd like to get it sent off to them soon. I'm knitting the 3 to 6 month size, so I'm not in any major rush to get it sent off. I've sent them a little package with some newborn bits in, and things like that. And if this comes a little bit later, then that's absolutely fine because it's not going to fit straight away anyway. But yeah, that's the second thing that I've been working on. I feel like I'm rushing through this, so sorry for that. Then the third thing that I have been working on is a crochet project. And it doesn't look like a lot of progress has been made. But that's mostly because I had to order some eyes and then I had to wait for the eyes to arrive. And I hadn't quite anticipated needing the eyes so early. But I have been working on my little crochet dragon, who looks slightly disturbing because he's got no stuffing in him. But yeah, there he is, my little crochet dragon. He has some eyes. I'm not 100% sure that I've got the placement of the eyes correct. Being very new to crochet amigurumi, I found it quite tricky because right. The pattern, let's start with the pattern. The pattern I'm using is from this book, Unicorns, Dragons and More, Fantasy Amigurumi. And it's brilliant, and I'm finding it really easy to follow in terms of the pattern, and being very new to it, it's brilliant because it's got like all the stitches in, it's got video links to stitches if you need them. So that's very good. What I found a bit challenging was that when it told you to put the eyes in, you were probably like down here, and then it suddenly said to you, put the eyes in row something, this many stitches from the beginning of the round. And I was kind of like, I'm not 100% sure at this point how to count my rows, and I'm not 100% sure at this point how to count my stitches. What would have been really handy is if, as you got to the point where you needed to put the eyes in, like physically where the actual bit where the eyes go, it told you to put in a stitch marker or something like that to mark where your eyes were going to go. I might have found that a bit easier, but it's probably something that you just get used to the more you do. So I wouldn't call it a criticism as such, just more from a beginner's perspective. I think I would have found that slightly more helpful than getting past the point where the eyes need to go and then having to work out, going back, counting rows to find where they need to go. But anyway, I think they should be fine. I think it will just be a case of placing the nostrils in a place that doesn't make him look cross-eyed or anything daft. But he is growing. And now that the eyes are in, I can just carry on working down the body. I'm really enjoying how this yarn is knitting up. Not knitting, crocheting up. Working up. Let's go with that. I'm really enjoying how the yarn is working up. And I definitely think I'm going to do hot pink spikes. And then I'm just going to have to pick out a couple of other colours for the other highlights. I was trying to think to myself that I was going to have to delve through Stash and see if I could find any DK scraps and what did I have. Then it occurred to me that I dye yarn and I dye DK minis. So actually I could just dye myself up a hot pink mini to do the spikes, and I could just dye myself up a mini in whatever other colour I wanted for the other bits and pieces. I sometimes forget about that when it comes to making things. So yeah, I think I will dye myself up some hot pink minis to do the spikes down the back of his body. And in fact, this is actually the one I'm making, the one on the front of the book. So I will dye up, I think I'm going to go hot pink spikes down the back of the body. I might do like a white tummy. I'm not sure yet. And then we'll just see how it looks when I get to the point when I need to do those. But he is definitely getting some work on and I am really enjoying it. I very much need to sit with it and not do anything else because it requires a lot of counting. Certainly for me who's inexperienced, it requires a lot of counting, but I'm doing well. I'm marking my beginning of round and it's going well. Hopefully it continues to go well. Right, so that's everything that I've kind of been working on this week in terms of the works in progress aspect of things. But I did want to share a little bit of blanket progress because I have finished the main part of my blanket. So if you've been... Children. If you've been following for a while, you'll know that this blanket is what I am calling my Advent blanket, and I have been making it out of the mini skeins that I got in the Henny Penny Makes Advent calendar for 2020. Lovely Erin, who is a friend and lives not too far up the road, and I do a swap. We've done it for the last 2 years and I think we're doing it again this year for Advent. So we basically swap an Advent. She has one of mine and I have one of hers. And this is the one from 2020 and I decided to make a blanket. So what I did is I took each 20 gram mini skein and I crocheted 4 8 round granny squares out of that 20 gram mini skein. And I just joined them together. So you've got colours 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, etc, etc. And this is what we've got. Oh, I can't roll it up to show you the rest. There we go, all the way to the end, and the final row has been added. I've still got quite a lot of ends to sort in. Most of them, as I joined, I kind of crocheted them in. I held them double and crocheted them in. But there were a few points where I ended up with 2, like with these bits here. There's a few points where I ended up with 2 ends meeting in the same place on different squares, and I could only grab one of them to crochet in rather than both of them. So I need to go back and crochet a few ends in. And then I think I'm going to put a relatively simple, just a granny stitch border on it. Probably do a couple of rounds, I think, of just granny stitch around the outside just to keep it relatively simple. But it is a gorgeous size. It's a really lovely kind of lap blanket size. It just kind of tucks around me and covers my legs on the sofa, and it's going to be a perfect blanket size for the sofa. So I'm very tempted with one of whatever advent calendars I get this year, which I might have bought a few of, with one of the advent calendars that I'm getting for this year, I'm very tempted to do similar and make advent blanket a thing every year. So we will see. But yeah, it's getting there. It's very nearly finished. The bulk of the work is done. It's just the finishing now. And somehow that's the hardest bit, isn't it? Like, it's really exciting putting the blanket together, but then when it comes to finishing, you suddenly have ends to weave in, and the border takes quite a while, and it's not quite as exciting as putting all the colours together. But having the finished blanket at the end is going to be amazing. I have bordered this. I keep talking about the yarn that I've used for the main colour, but I haven't mentioned for a while. I've bordered all the squares, and I'm bordering the whole thing just in some Drops Fable, which is a wool nylon blend. I use this quite a lot for bordering blankets because it's really affordable. It's really cheap, and it's, you know, it's a similar blend of wool to a merino nylon, so it kind of holds up the same. It's a little bit rougher, but I find that when I'm using it with a blanket, I don't mind that so much. But yeah, that's kind of what I use. So a mix of hand dyed and commercial often go into a blanket for me. But there you go. That is that one. I really have flown through this today. I don't have a lot to share. I keep meaning to do a longer podcast, one of the longer episodes, but I've not picked up my cross stitch recently, and I've not picked up my spinning recently, and I haven't got a lot more to share. And because of the April vlogs, I'm doing book of the day every day during that, so you're seeing all the books that I've been talking about anyway. So I am afraid that during April, I think we will have to forego a long podcast, because you're getting videos every day for the April vlogs anyway, with more of the kind of background chatty stuff. What else did I want to talk about? Yarny goodness. I had a little bit of yarny goodness come in, which again, if you've seen the April vlogs, you will have seen these, but I know not everybody watches the vlogs. Some people prefer podcasts, so I will recap them. But I ordered some more cotton for washcloths, because as you'll know, I'm joining in with the year of washcloths from Garlene at the kitchen sink shop, and I'm getting low on cotton. I don't have a big stash of commercial yarn. It was never something that I came along when I was at that stage of kind of starting to knit and using commercial or acrylic or anything like that. I would very much buy what I needed for a project and nothing more. So I've never built up a big stash of commercial yarn. And then when I discovered hand-dyed yarn, that's when it needed collecting. So anyway, I picked up a few balls of Lily Sugar and Cream. So I got two of their striped colourways, which were these two. So this one is Country Stripes, sorry, and this one is Violet Stripes. So I thought they could be fun. I picked up one of their kind of slightly speckled colourways. Oh, the ball band's coming off it now. So this was the Summer Print colour. Excuse the state of my nails, I really need to repaint them. Chipped off everywhere. So this is the Summer Print colour. And then I just picked up three solids. So I got Soft Violet, Tea Rose and Beach Glass. And I think I'm going to use one of these for this month's washcloth, which I really need to cast on. So I'm not sure which one yet, but one of them I will use for that. So that was the yarny goodness that came into my life. While we're talking about yarny goodness, I am going to do a little bit of a de-stash. Is it Sunday today? It's Sunday today, so tomorrow. So maybe when this video goes up, although I might get this video up today. I'll probably get this video up today. But on Monday, the 19th of April, I am going to do a little bit of a de-stash. And I've got a big bag here of yarns that I am planning on de-stashing. I have an Instagram de-stash account, which is Giddy_de-stash. At Giddy_de-stash. So if you're interested, then just pop on over there on Monday and have a little look and see what is available. It's not masses, but I know a lot of us like to shop a de-stash because we get bargains. Right. Yeah, yarny goodness. Shop news is the last thing. Gosh, I'm coming in at under half an hour. Sorry for the super quick podcast this week. Advents. That's the thing for shop news that I wanted to talk about. My advent calendars are now launched. Pre-orders are live. I tend to do quite a lot of advent calendars, so I have a number in my mind. Well, I know how many I did last year, and I'd quite like to match the number I did last year, but I've also got some flexibility to go over the number I did last year. So I tend to do quite a lot. So they do not sell out super quickly, and they haven't sold out by any means. That sounds really bad. They've sold very well and they have actually sold a lot quicker than I was expecting them to sell based on previous year's advent sales. Usually I list them and they're up for a few months before I sell out. Whereas this time round, what I would normally sell in a couple of months has probably sold in maybe 24 hours, but I've still got plenty of spaces. Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah. As you'll know, if you've been watching the podcast for a while, my advent calendar this year is inspired by The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. And each box will include 24 mini skeins, individually wrapped and numbered. They're going to be chronological to the book. So if you want to read along with The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, which is a very achievable book to read during December. It's quite a short book. It's a children's book. I think it's up here. Yeah, so I mean, you can see it's not a massive novel by any means, and it's a very accessible book. So it's been around for so long, you'll be able to pick this up really easily at the library. It will be available via ebooks, or obviously you might even have a copy, or you could purchase a copy if you wanted to, whatever. But anyway, I'm getting tangenty again, aren't I? What I'm trying to say is that the colourways will be in the advent calendar chronologically. So you could read along with the book if you chose to. And I will also include a little information sheet that goes in the advent calendar that kind of says, you know, chapter 1, colourways. I haven't worked this out yet. Chapter 1, colourways 1 and 2, for example. Chapter 2, colourways 3 and 4. Yeah, there we go. So that works quite nicely. There might be a couple of chapters that don't have colourways linked to them, but the majority of chapters will have 1 or 2 colourways linked to them, something like that. I have planned out all of the colourways plus a few spares just in case colours become an issue. So that's the plan. Anyway, I am digressing, aren't I? So the box will include 24 mini skeins inspired by The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. They will be in chronological order to the book so that you can open your advent and read along if you choose to. There will also be 3 art postcards from Jessie at Eclectic Erudite, and I have seen the art proofs for them and they are fantastic. I love the idea she's gone for and I think they are brilliant. They are obviously Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe inspired. And then you'll also get a little hot chocolate sachet, a sweet treat, and some progress keepers kind of themed around the book that I'm going to make and include as well. So that is that. I am offering it in 3 options. So you can order a 10-gram sock, you can order a 20-gram sock, or you can order 20-gram DK. So they are all available. They're also available to pay full price up front, or I'm offering payment plans. The payment plans will only be available until probably the end of May, assuming I don't reach my maximum number by the end of May. But after that, if I've still got advents available, they'll still be available, but only at full price, just because of working out the logistics of sending out invoices and all of that kind of thing. But yeah, they're available. They're available now. So if you haven't ordered your advent calendar yet and you would like an advent calendar, then go and shop. And I'm going to go now because that was really awkward shop news section. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you all again next week with hopefully a finished object. Even if it's not my Campside Cardi, maybe it'll be the baby Vertebrae. Fingers crossed. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you would like to do so, then please do, because we are creeping ever closer to 2,000 subscribers, which would be an amazing milestone to reach. So that would be fantastic if you haven't subscribed yet and you would like to do so. It also keeps you up to date with my videos as well, so you don't miss any. And as always, you know, give it a little thumbs up at the bottom. That would be brilliant. And comment. let me know what you're working on or anything like that, what you think of the knit along, what you're planning to work on. All of those things are always greatly appreciated. Yeah, and I will see you all again next week. Bye.